My history with the LEGO franchise will always go back to the one IP I've loved ever since I was a child: Star Wars. There was a time when those LEGO games were the only ones I could tolerate playing. If I couldn't break things with a lightsaber, whatever. I remember the endless hours I spent playing and replaying LEGO Star Wars 2 on my PSP, and how saddened I was that it never came out digitally for use on the PS Vita. Because of that, I was really looking forward to the game we're covering today. Not a port of the older games, but an entirely reworked LEGO experience, spanning all 9 numbered movies of the franchise. Here is my review of LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga for the Nintendo Switch. The plot of this game is the same we saw in the 9 movies. It covers Anakin Skywalker's journey from being a pod racing slave to the menacing Darth Vader, Luke's journey of being a farm boy to the Jedi responsible for helping save the galaxy. And while many fans may not like it, we also see Rey go from being a nobody scavenger to the Resistance fighter that brought an end to the reign of an emperor that kept himself alive for far too long. The joy of this isn't just the plot of Star Wars, but the LEGO twist. Everything is put in a joking manner. From a million different people claiming to be Queen Amidala to R2-D2 interrupting the famous "I am your father" speech. It's hilarious in all the different twists and changes they make to all of the iconic events. There's also pretty good voice acting here. We don't have mumbling garble voices or audio clips copied and pasted from the movies. Everything was recorded for this game. We even have returning voice actors like Anthony Daniels and Billy D. Williams from the movies, Matt Lantern and James Arnold Taylor from the Clone Wars, and even Sam Witwer. When it comes to gameplay, this is a 3D action game with shooting and puzzle elements. As you trek through this game, each level will have you solving puzzles with character abilities and taking down enemies by means of blaster, lightsaber, and more. Before really getting started, let's compare. This game is not a remaster of LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga. It is a completely redone game featuring all 9 numbered movies of the Star Wars franchise. As such, things are different here, with new content being added that wasn't in the previous games and some content from those earlier games that are not in this one. To give you a few examples, we have 3 new boss fights that did not exist before, namely Yoda vs Darth Sidious from Revenge of the Sith, along with Leia vs Jabba the Hutt and Luke vs Darth Vader from Return of the Jedi. And likewise, there are also bits that are not in this game, like the Poe and Finn TIE Fighter escape from The Force Awakens and Lando's Falcon run into the second Death Star from Return of the Jedi. Now, like older LEGO Star Wars titles, this game is separated into episodes for each movie. At the start, you can begin any trilogy you want, be it from Phantom Menace, A New Hope, or The Force Awakens. Once in an episode, you are put in a 3D sandbox-style planet. You've got story markers to follow in order to progress the plot forward, but also a lot of optional side content. It'll open up the more you progress, but each planet has collectibles to find, NPCs with side missions, minigames, free roam to areas that you're technically not supposed to be able to go to yet. And it gets even bigger with the Galaxy Map fast travel system, so you can travel to any planet you've unlocked in any episode, going to that planet for its side content or space outside of it to take part in little collectible space battles. Now, technically, all of this optional stuff is more geared towards when you've beaten all 9 movies and have the free Galaxy episode to just go wherever you want, but it's there for you to go to on your way if you wish. Now, with progressing the story, you simply follow the yellow story markers and begin each mission. The levels are fairly short and simple, with you navigating 3D areas and trying to get to the next. In typical LEGO fashion, you can break almost everything you see for studs, and the puzzles are geared towards using the special abilities of each party member, like C-3PO's ability to detach and enter small areas, or Rey's ability to use tools to create climbable nets. This is where the changes really start to show up. Characters have new abilities and lose some of their older ones. For example, Count Dooku and Palpatine can no longer use Force Lightning, and Jar Jar can shoot off boomers like he's holding a blaster. A lot of things are different from the older games, and you can really tell, especially when you get into combat. This game has a great third-person shooting system with a Resident Evil 4 style camera angle, and Melee is now utilizing a combo system. Enemies can block melee attacks, so you can combine the Y, B, and A buttons into simple jumping and smash attacks to keep the enemy guard down. It's a lot different than just walking up and mashing the Y button to get what you want. Boss fights are also different. The lightsaber duels are much more focused and combo based. The enemy will use flashy jumps and smash attacks that you have to guard and dodge to put your combos in properly. There are a lot of QTEs as well, with cinematic boss phases that give the duels a really nice and pretty look to them. Now, finishing all of these levels will reward you with LEGO studs, the currency. You can use this currency not only for buying starships and playable characters, but upgrades. There are a bunch of little passive abilities you can buy for your characters, from core abilities that anyone can use to buffs for a particular class like Jedi, Scoundrel, or Sith. These are not necessary really, but are pretty useful for making the game go by a bit easier. Extras and cheats return as well, and they're a bit easier to manage than previous titles. During free roam, you can find data cards that can be used to purchase a single cheat with the required stud currency. You don't have to find a special collectible or red brick to unlock each individual cheat. All of them are available at all times. All you gotta do is grab a data card and the studs required, and you can buy any one you want. Overall, I find this system to be a lot of fun. While waiting to activate a story mission, you can go do side content, explore areas you're not supposed to be able to reach yet, or if you're feeling a bit silly, you can stand around slapping up Senator Palpatine as Queen Amidala, or running around who knows where attacking everything as Dark Rey. You know, that Sith version of Rey with the really cool folding lightsaber. As you might expect, this game has got a bunch of content and length to it. LEGO games normally only come with around 8 to 9 hours of content for their campaigns. We may not have the ridiculous amount of content that the LEGO Harry Potter collection has, but with this game's 9 movie campaigns, it will easily take you around 20 hours to complete, even if you do nothing as far as side content goes. And that very side content you can do in the post game will easily double that. Next, let's talk presentation. Visually, the game looks beautiful. There's a ton of detail everywhere, from the environments and models to the lighting effects of the lightsabers. But audio brings an oddity that is a bit familiar to us. The volume of this game is pretty low. It's not nearly as bad as the audio volume issue from LEGO Marvel Superheroes, but I had to always up my Switch's volume to at least 75% to hear the game properly, and my TV volume at 15% instead of the typical 5%. With performance, things are mostly good, but it does have some hiccups. The frame rate sticks to 30 FPS most of the time, but some areas do have it drop and get choppy. There are currently a couple areas from The Force Awakens that are especially bad at this, along with a short segment in Return of the Jedi. Thankfully, these issues don't last terribly long, and the game will quickly get back to that 30 FPS. It's also worth noting that as of the day I recorded this, April 8th, 2022, the Switch version has already received 2 patches. It's very possible that these issues may not be issues for very much longer. And with that, let's go into battery life. The original model gets a battery range of 3 hours and 19 up to 3 hours and 59. The Nintendo Switch Lite gets a range of 3 hours and 26 up to 4 hours and 5. The Redboxer V2 2019 model gets a range of 5 hours and 20 up to 6 hours and 55. And the OLED model gets a range of 5 hours and 28 up to 7 hours and 9. In conclusion, LEGO Star Wars comes back to a handheld in a huge package with a sandbox design and beautiful presentation. Now on the downside, there are a couple hiccups with sound and frame rate, but anyone willing to deal with issues in a couple of the levels will find a great Star Wars game that is packed with comedy and offers a ton for you to do in and out of the story. Reviews to go rates LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga for the Nintendo Switch an 8.5 out of 10. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.